appreciate all of you being here. Most of our students who are going to be watching this will be seeing it as part of a recorded session they'll be seeing as part of their classroom experience. So today we have the honor and privilege of getting the second iteration of the Tammie and Len show. Tammie and McClafferty and Leonard Chatman are both some amazing community leaders here in Jacksonville, been impacting people throughout the community for years. And we're absolutely blessed to have them as part of our team now and working with us and making this part of our learning experience for our students and for some of our special guests who are joining today as well. This is part of our year-long speaker series that we're spotlighting leaders in the community, not just here on campus, who are really making an impact that in many ways is generational. Starting in January, we're going to have the Leading Ladies campaign, so we hope all of you can attend as well, where women in leadership in prominent positions throughout Jacksonville and throughout the nation will be providing monthly sessions and guest lectures for our students and our leadership community here on campus. And we also were featured last night on the news with our partnership with Ronald McDonald House. So many good things are happening here with the Leadership Institute, and the guest lectures here by Tammie and Len are just one of those other just amazing things happening. So thanks everyone for attending. We'll wrap it up. This will be about a 30-minute presentation, but really take advantage of this. Len speaks all over the state of Florida, a motivational speaker. Tammie is doing some just great work with the Lifework group. Without further ado, let's hear from Tammie and Len. Go ahead, Corey.
Welcome back.
Hey guys, we're back for round 2 of the Len and Tammie show.
Let's call it that.
So it should be the Tammie and Len show.
It's the Tammie. It has a little ring to it. Ladies first. So, Dr. Olson work on that.
Beauty.
Dr. Olson work on the television show.
So we are so glad to be back with you guys. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. We are going to jump right in and hit habit 2. So if you remember, if those of you that were able to listen to the first session that we talked about, we hit habit 1 of highly effective people. So there's the 7 habits, and we hit habit 1 last time. And so we're just going to continue in that format and talk about habit 2 today, which tell us about habit 2.
Habit 2. First off, I hope that everybody enjoyed habit 1 just as much as you and I did. Habit 2 is going to be absolutely phenomenal, and it's really titled something very simplistic, but we hope that you will grasp something today, and it's begin with the end in mind.
So we're going to start a little differently. And maybe it's just my elementary background, but I like to do activities. They call it, they always laugh that I always bring glitter and glue to everything because I have to have an activity. So today we're actually going to start you with an activity to help you begin to think of your end, because habit 2 is begin with the end in mind. So we've got to get to the end. The end being your big dream. Like if there was no money that mattered, if your degree didn't matter, if your family didn't matter, if it didn't matter where you lived, if it did, all those things that tend to play into our decision making, if none of those mattered, and you could just dream the biggest dream that you could imagine, that's what we're going to do right now. So I'm going to give you just 2 seconds, and Len has never done this, so Leonard is actually going to do the activity with you. I've already done it with my students prior, so I'll show you mine at the end. But what I'd like you to do is just take the next minute, wherever you're at. If you're sitting in a classroom, if you're sitting at home, I just need you to grab a blank piece of paper, any size, it doesn't matter, and a writing utensil of some sort. Now, when my students did it, they got a little creative and had markers and, all kinds of stuff. So whatever's within your reach, just grab a piece of paper and a pen or pencil. So we'll give you 2 seconds to grab that, and then we will get started. All right, so here's what you're going to do. Beginning with the end in mind, you are going to draw a picture of you with everything you could ever want for yourself. So this is an invitation to go 100% me. This is a time for you to be selfish. You don't have to think about others. This is just your free time to draw anything you can see or imagine for yourself, for your life. So go ahead and take just a few minutes, draw quickly because we don't want to waste the entire 30 minutes on your creations, and go ahead and draw that. I see Len's already started. I feel like I should do the Jeopardy time clock.
You could do that. Oh, Alex tripped that.
Oh, that's not good. Sorry, Alex.
I'm still emotional. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's sad. So yes, draw your picture.
I have some very thick fingers.
Some great pictures. We do have to share, so keep it clean.
I just ask that the students or whoever is watching don't judge my artistic behavior.
Mine's not much better, so that's good. So this is your time to draw a picture of everything you could possibly want for your life, for your future.
This is bad, Tammie.
Is that a football team? What do you want for your life there? It's the O-line and the D-line. I don't know what you're drawing. As long as you can explain it, that's all that matters.
I definitely can explain it. Let me tell you, everyone, this is all going to tie in really good. Okay.
I'm not sure. I want your end. This guy looks like he's getting hung. I'm not sure.
It's not what I was blessed with. Disability. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I got it. All right. Okay. Might as well put some hair on me a little bit.
See, in your fantasy world, right? I was skinny on mine.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so we'll give you guys just another second or so to kind of finish up, and you can finish this activity on your own time. We just kind of wanted to discuss it and get our minds thinking about the end. All right, go ahead and put your pencils down. And I know, I'm sure you didn't finish. You could take a ton of time for this, but put your pencils down for a minute. Len, do you want to explain yours?
Yeah. First off, here's beginning with the end in mind because it has two paradigms. And the first paradigm is everything is created twice. Okay, so always remember that everything is created twice. First mentally, then physically. And this is my mental. Okay, it's a lot of mental going on right here. You can't see it. Okay, there we go. All right. So now what you have here is me with the hair. I don't have, I have a very short left arm, or my right arm extends to other people. Okay, this little stick right here is the microphone. So those are people. That's my football team that Tammie talked about.
Like the O-line and the D-line.
Yeah. But those are the people. And what that is because everything is created twice, one mentally, then physically, and we'll talk about that a little deeper. But my future, or if you gave me anything right now, the opportunity, I want to speak in front of thousands of people every single day, reaching my arm out, figuratively, and impacting their lives through spoken word, through encouragement, through positivity, through platforms like this. I love people. I realized at a very early age that, you know what, that's my superpower. Yeah. My superpower is people. And I love people. I love reaching out to them, saying, hey, let me give them a call. I'm thinking about them. Or, coming over to Tammie's house to record an incredible webcast. I want to reach people. And that's what this is about. And I hope that we're doing that in these various webinar series.
So mine, and I had done this before with a class, mine is not really any better. Apparently I like pine trees. I'm not sure what all those are up at the top.
It's actually Christmas trees.
It is. I'm so festive. Not that you can see behind us, but my house is fully decorated already. But with my picture, mine was that I wanted a place to live in multiple locations. So it is a big dream of mine. I've always wanted to live above a bagel shop in a downtown. Like some bagel and coffee shop, like where I get up in the morning and I can smell the everything bagel and the coffee right below me.
Really?
And I've never had the opportunity to live in like a downtown.
Okay.
I got married really young, had kids, always wanted to, but never had the opportunity to live in a downtown. But then there's a side of me that needs mountains and snow. And so I want an A-frame cabin in the woods also. But then I live in suburbia, which is where I live with kids, which is nice for a neighborhood as far as raising a family. So I have my little suburban area. So my big dream has me owning multiple houses, one at the beach, one in suburbia, one downtown, one in the mountains, places that I can just go. And I think I see that in my future, especially as my kids are getting older, because they're going to end up going all over, you know, wherever their future takes them. And I want to have these places that feel like home that they can come back to. And so that's a huge piece of that. But to get to that big dream, which sounds so selfish, but they gave us permission to do that. So it sounds so selfish, but to get there, I know that I need to be able to generate more money, right? So that drives me to win the lottery, you know, or something. Make my husband do it, I don't know. But, you know, so then that drives the part of it is how am I going to create that dream? And so this gives all kinds of opportunities to do it, as well as traveling. So this is my little travel corner. I needed to travel. And then I broke it down with each of my kids. So my big dream for each of my kids. This is what I want Creed to do. This is what I want Cannon to do. This is what I want Bailey to do. Big dreams for them. So mine tended to, you know, be a little bit more about that. But at the end of the day, what this activity is meant to help you do is begin to think of that at the end, you know, big dream. What are the things that I want to aim for? What do I want to reach for? And as Leonard had said, with this habit 2, begin with the end in mind. There are 2 main paradigms that we're going to talk about this evening. And the first one really is that everything is created twice, first mentally, then physically. So before you go and do anything that you're dreaming about, you have to create it mentally first. So this is just one activity that kind of gets you thinking. We're going to give you another couple examples of different activities that help get your mind thinking like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, to echo that, you know, you have to ask yourself various questions. What is it that I've always wanted to do with my life, right? But again, that starts right here. And I always tell people, and I told you a few seconds ago, the strongest, but yet the most important muscle in your body is your mind. You know, it's not your hamstring or your bicep or your tricep or your triglycerides. You know, feeling my physical therapy.
That's the lines, it's the O line and the D line.
Exactly. It's your mind. It's your mind. And I think, you know, it was Forrest Gump that said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, right? But Leonard's philosophy actually differs from Forrest Gump. Leonard's philosophy is that life is like an automobile. Only you control the direction. And because our lives are like automobiles, some people are in park, some people are in reverse mentally, some people are in neutral mentally, some people are in drive. What type of person, what type of automobile, what gear are you in right now? Because if you're in drive, you definitely have something to look forward to. You don't look in the rearview mirror, right? So the other quotes, the other, things or activities is one, look up positive quotes, okay, on social media.
So this is interesting. We did this with the students. So I mentioned this last time. I'm actually teaching this class at a college. So it's the 7 Habits of Highly Effective College Students. Right. So we're kind of going through these habits. And we actually did this activity. I made all of them, which, super easy assignment, but I said, you have to go home this week. You need to come up with 10 quotes that you just found somewhere on social media, and you need to come back and share them and pick one and kind of create a little, poster or whatever. And I thought it was kind of a cheesy activity, right? Like, kind of cheesy. No. Oh my gosh, they did so, and the quotes that they came up with were, maybe it's just showing my age, because my quotes were like typical quotes that I thought everybody heard, but they came up with some of these quotes that I had never heard. And then part of the assignment was they had to find out who made that quote and research the person a little bit. So it was really fascinating to see what these young freshmen were looking up as far as quotes. And it, just from listening to them say what quotes they thought were, picked, or I could kind of gauge the class, like, oh, this person really is a thinker, and this person is a doer, and this person is compassionate, and this person is self-motivated. Like, you could see by the quotes that they picked, like, kind of, what they were doing, where they were going, what they were driving, how they were driving. So it's a cool activity. So that's something to do to just get your mind thinking about, what's important to you.
Yeah. What are you passionate about? You said it earlier. What keeps you awake at night?
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, but life is also like an automobile. Only you control the direction. You can tweet that one out.
Another activity, which is a cool one, and we were talking about this before we got on.
Yes.
They tell you to imagine a beam, just a little narrow beam that is stretched across 2 skyscrapers.
Yes.
And you have to walk across that beam with no ropes, no, protection. What would make you cross that beam? What could be on the other side that would make it worth crossing that beam? And they give examples. There was $1 million on the other side. Would you cross it? What if it was a little brother who needed rescue? Would you cross it? What if it was fame? What if it was, professional athletes? What if it was speaking to large groups of people? What if it was 4 houses, one in the woods, one downtown, one, in the suburbs, one at the beach? Would I cross the beam for those things?
Yeah.
So, that's another way to get your mind thinking. When you're trying to come up with what your end is, whether it's drawing a picture, whether it's answering questions, whether it's finding quotes, whether it's imagining walking across this beam, these are all just activities to get your mind going in the direction of what is my end? What is at the end of this that I'm willing to fight for, to move towards, to take a risk for? What is your end? Obviously, you heard Leonard, our ends are different. So his end wouldn't motivate me to walk across that beam. Mine wouldn't motivate him. So you've got an end that you have to mentally come up with first, because that's the first paradigm of this habit, is know that you have to create mentally first, then you can go do it physically.
Yeah, we talked about it. It's your why. Simon Sinek, arguably one of the top, TEDx speakers, said, "What is your why?" Everybody's why is different. Yeah, I'm definitely going to walk across that beam to impact people. You know what I mean? And I really believe that you want 4 homes. Okay, as long as you fix dinner one of them for me and my wife.
I think I'm skiing at my chalet.
Right? But what is your why? Yeah.
And so that is one piece of begin with the end in mind. You have to get to know your end. We talked about this last time. For me, a great activity to do, and again, it always comes back to my faith for me. That's really where I get my foundation. But, somebody had asked me one time, I believe that someday at the end, I'm going to stand before the Lord, and I'm going to have to give an account for my life.
Absolutely.
And, according to what I believe, the Bible says he's going to either say, well done, or not well done. And, so for me, another motivating factor is I want to make sure that at the end, when I stand before him, I get to hear the words that say, well done. You were on earth for a reason, and you achieved that reason. You made a difference. So that is an end game for me. Okay, so those are just some activities to kind of get you thinking about the end. Once that's done in your mind, so now you've kind of got your end, you've got your picture, you've asked the questions, you know what you're walking across the beam for, you've kind of mentally envisioned your end. The next step is to write a personal mission statement. And this is a huge piece. It's a hard piece. It really rattled me a little bit, because I think I've taught this many times, but never actually came up with my personal mission statement until, more recently in the last, year or so. And for me, it was hard because it was like, oh, there's so much. And how do I narrow it down into one little phrase that encapsulates everything that I want to be? But it is a process that's worth doing. And so, the next step is when you have this end game out here that this is what I want to do, the steps to get there in working backwards is you have to come up with a personal mission statement. That's the next step, working backwards. So some things they say to do about personal mission statements. Sums up what you want your life to be about. It's a blueprint that directs your life choices. Some other things you want to read a few.
It usually is shorter, and can change a bit from year to year. So, give yourself some room for flexibility.
It's personal and it takes time. So it's not to be eloquent. It's not to be, doesn't have to be catchy. It's just personal. It's yours. Right?
For 5 minutes without stopping. Now that's a good challenge. Write about who you are to your core. What do you like? Again, what keeps you awake at night? What's your why? And definitely, what are your goals? You know, you got to have some goals. I was thinking while you were speaking that, you know, two of the most popular words are destiny and destination, but yet they are the same. They come from the same root words, but they're totally different. They have different meanings. They have different values associated with them, because destiny is what we're talking about now. It's the end, you know what I mean? But the destination is talking about, you know, what are you doing right now? You know what I mean? So yes, you can think it in your mind, but you've got to put some physicality to it. Destination is what you're doing now. Preparation is what you're doing now. It's the process. So
the other thing, be realistic.
yeah.
You know, if you say you want to save the whales, do you want to save every whale in the world? Like, you know, be realistic about these goals, and not realistic in a negative way, but realistic in an attainable, you know, that's a fine line, because you want to dream so big that it's beyond what you can imagine. But you do have to be realistic so you're not discouraged either. Like, there's got to be that balance.
Because you're going to put some pressure on yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so be realistic with your goals, or with your personal mission statement when you write it. Set time aside to do it. It really takes time. I mean, when I decided to finally do this and write mine, it truly was a process. Like, I had to really take the time to do it. And it's funny, I made Lifeworkers do it this year. So I work for an organization called Lifework, and Leonard went through the program last year. And I added this after teaching this class to this year's Lifework class. I've made the participants create their personal mission statement. So we walked through this as a class, and I was surprised. I mean, these are high-level executives in this program, and I would say we have 48 people in the class. I think 2 of them had a personal mission statement prior to this.
Yeah.
So it's not often we find people that actually have a personal mission statement. So it's well worth taking the time to do it. Do you have a personal mission statement?
Yeah, it has varied, you know, over the time. You know, I've kind of mixed and mingled my personal mission statement and my leadership, you know, statement. But basically, my personal and my leadership statement, they share similarities. There's some commonalities to them. Of course, it's not going to be word for word right now, but basically, you know, it's to really make an impact on every generation, every human being, no matter their race, color, sexual orientation. I want to make an impact on them. I want them to, you know, think of themselves bigger than what they could ever imagine. And that's my personal mission statement in short. You know, impact is very important to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mine, I've narrowed it down, and only because I've taught it so much, so I have it memorized now, but I say it to myself often. Mine is enjoy today.
Yeah, I remember.
Envision tomorrow, encourage forever. And so for me, when I created it, the enjoy today, that seems so silly, but that's the one that I struggle with the most, because my personality is envisioning tomorrow, which is the second part. Enjoy today, envision tomorrow. I'm really good at envisioning. I'm really good at goal setting. I can set all these things out there and try to achieve them, but I miss the day. Like, I'm so busy looking ahead to the future of what's coming that I forget to just enjoy the day while it's happening. So that's the piece of it that I put in the mission statement as a reminder to drive me to remember what's important.
Drive.
Yeah, I'm drive. See, I'm not a nurse. Yay.
I'm telling you, life is like an automobile. Only you control the direction. I'm telling you.
So you want to create a personal mission statement. And you can definitely go online and Google it and find somebody else's and tweak it to make it yours. But if you really take the time to do it, it's a beneficial process to build your personal mission statement. So working backwards, end in mind, that's this habit, begin with the end in mind. We started with dreaming big, however you can do that, draw a picture, all those activities. Then you have to create your personal mission statement. So that is your individual statement that you have to design and write up. And then the next step before that, because we're going backwards, is to set goals to achieve that personal mission statement, which will allow you to achieve that dream that you thought. So most of you, I'm sure, have learned a million different ways to write goals or how to do it, but we're just going to give you a few really quick snippets of some goal setting, goal writing techniques.
Yeah, it's the XY format. You know, hey, X is what I want to do, and then Y is by when or how I'm going to get there. So it's the XY effect. Some people have SMART goals. You know, some say, hey, SMART goals is, you know, S, you know, it's, I can't even remember what it is.
SMART goals are specific.
Specific, and I like, strategized
Yeah. goals.
So yes, specific,
Manageable.
management, accountable, attainable, realistic, and
time sensitive.
Yeah.
Those are SMART.
So
Did you ever hear the BHAG?
There's a lot of
The BHAG goals are big, hairy, audacious goals. BHAG, BHAG, they call BHAG goals. So if you ever hear anybody say, what's your BHAG goal? It's your big, hairy, audacious goal.
Well, I got the ABC goals. A, B, and C. Do it.
Just drive.
Drive.
Go.
And D. Yeah, you got to have the D. Drive.
A, B, C, D. Drive. Okay, narrow your goals down from maybe 1 or 2. Sometimes we have so many goals. You think of New Year's resolutions. How many people start it, they have a goal, they've got 10 goals, and then you don't complete any of them. So this is really pick 1 or 2 really important goals that everything else hinges on and focus on those goals.
Yeah. And then track your goals, keep score. Definitely that's an important one. And then accountability with yourself, or have an accountability partner, is important as well.
So I was talking about goals in class, and I had a student who was like, hey, does anybody have goals? Kind of did this whole goal thing, we were talking about it, and I said, does anybody have a goal? And this one kid stands up in the back of the class, literally in the back of the class, and he pulls out his wallet, right? And he opens up the wallet, and we're all just kind of like, what is he doing? And he pulls out this really wrinkled piece of paper that you could tell he has opened and closed and folded a bunch of different times. Yeah. And he opens up the paper in front of the class, and at this point, we're all just kind of zoned in on him and looking. And he reads out loud to the class, and I had to write it down because I asked the kid the other day. He said, get and maintain a 3.7 GPA. Get BFS, he said, which is bigger, faster, stronger. By his senior year, he wanted to weigh 200 pounds. He wanted to run a 4.640, and he wanted to bench press 200 pounds 8 times. He said he wanted to be one of 22 starters on the varsity football team by his senior year and contribute to the winning state championship. And then he said, be a good brother and an example to his 3 little brothers. And then he sat down. He folded the paper up and sat down. And I think all of us were sitting in the class and just like, dang, I mean, what junior in high school, when asked what your goal is, stands up and like opens the paper up and reads that? Like, and so specific, get and maintain a 3.7, bigger, faster, stronger. Like he was specific. I want to run a 40 in this. I want to bench press this. And then it was like, not only just being on the varsity team, but contributing to winning the state championship. Like just so specific. And you knew he had opened that paper a million times over.
He was serious about it.
He was serious about it. And I thought, my goodness, I wish I would do that. Like I wish I would write my goals down like that and keep them with me so that I looked at them as much as he did. It was really inspirational.
Wow.
So write your goals.
He was serious about it.
He was serious.
How serious are you about reaching your goals?
He was in drive.
He was definitely
in overdrive.
4-wheel drive.
That's true.
Yeah, he's definitely in drive. That was amazing.
Okay, so we are finishing up. Just the last thing we want to tell you. So habit 2, begin with the end in mind. Starts with having the end game, the dream.
Yeah.
Figure that out. Then you're going to go to your personal mission statement. You're going to write that. Then you're going to come up with some very specific goals. I want to get X to Y by when. You're going to have very specific goals, not too many, just a couple, so that you can know them and achieve them. And then there's a second paradigm. So that's really the first paradigm. We're going to think it all mentally first, and then we're going to do it physically. So that's the first paradigm you need to have when you're thinking of the end in mind. The second paradigm.
You can make a meaningful contribution to this world. But how? What is your why? It goes back to that. Because you got to honestly feel in your heart, I really feel like I can reach every human being in this world. Is it physically possible? Not every single solitary person, right? But I really believe that I can make an impact. I really believe that you can own 4 homes. I believe that you can cut the check right now as well.
That I can't, so I'm going to believe it anyway.
But we all can make a meaningful contribution in this world, okay? And so can you.
And I think that's the important thing about this paradigm is really understanding that it's more than just having 4 houses.
Right.
It's more than just getting to speak in front of thousands of people. But you have to come up with the why you want all of Why do you want to speak to thousands of people? Why do I want to have these 4 homes? And the why, as I mentioned, is that thing that you know you're called to do to make bigger impact. So I'm not called to have 4 houses just to have 4 houses.
Right.
But I can use those houses for greater purpose, which is what we really try to do. Open up our home, share it with people, invite people in, create relationships. That's part of what we do. You want to reach to thousands of people because you want to make an impact in their lives and
100%.
encourage them to do more. And so there has to be that reason why you want to do all that. And something that really tugs at your heart, I'm almost tempted to say almost like an injustice, something that's out there that drives you to do what you do because something's wrong. So whether it's, I was telling you, we have this coffee shop in Jack's Beach where we did the last one from, and it's in front of a rescue mission. So it is designed to help the homeless people of Jack's Beach. The gentleman that started this rescue mission, his heartbeat, and it's not his job, he's a real estate agent. His job is real estate and that's what he does. But with all the money that he makes, anything extra that he makes, it goes into this rescue mission because his heart, what keeps him up at night is homelessness. And when he sees these people laying outside in Jack's Beach, he's moved to do something for them. So there's got to be something in you that's bigger than just, I want money and I want fame and I want, that's good. We all want to be successful, but there's got to be something that drives you to do more. For you, in looking at this, it's what drives you is people to be their best, to reach their fullest potential.
100%.
When you see somebody that's not reaching their fullest potential, it tugs at your heart.
It does.
Right?
I try to let them know immediately that you can make a contribution to this world.
Right.
Okay. And I can tell the homeless man that, and it could change the trajectory of his life.
Right.
I can tell a millionaire that, and he could become more philanthropic. And that's the power of what you say.
Yeah. So that's the piece of it that we want to leave you with. You have to begin with the end in mind. That starts by dreaming big, thinking outside of the box, all the things you want.
Beyond the box.
Beyond the box.
Beyond the box.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later. That's later.
Beyond the box.
Yeah.
So think big, dream big, picture it mentally, come up with a personal mission statement to help get you there, set goals to achieve that. But then at the end of it, to know that you have a greater purpose and a bigger why that drives you to do what it is that you do.
Yeah. I'm done. I wanted to, my last words, I wanted, because it's so important for this paradigm and, this second habit, I wanted to do something unique. I didn't even share with you.
You did not share with me. Don't make me draw, please.
I know. It just came all of a sudden. Okay. The first, give me a number between 1 and 5.
4.
All right. So the first 4 people that email me their personal mission statement, okay, will get a signed copy of my latest book, The Art of Appreciation. Dr. Olson actually endorsed this book. They'll get a free copy. Actually, I still owe Dr. Olson his, okay? Email me at author, AUTHOR, at leonardchatmanjr.org. The first 4 people who email me their personal mission statement, and I'll be on the lookout for it, will get a free signed copy of my book.
Can I email it tonight? I don't have a signed copy of the book.
I love you. You will get one.
I have a signed copy of the book. I have mine. I can.
The Art of Appreciation.
So tell me your email again. Spell it out.
Author, AUTHOR, at Leonard, LEONARD, Chatman, CHAT as in thank you, MANJR.org.
Guys, thanks for letting us join you this evening. We really enjoy this. We really do. We enjoy it. We enjoy the time together. We enjoy going over the content. We enjoy bringing it to you. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we get one more time. And I think it's face-to-face, right?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
The next one we get to come face-to-face. We were supposed to do this one face-to-face, but I couldn't get there today. So I think the next one is face-to-face.
So we'll say see you soon in person.
All right. Sounds good. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us today and listening to Tammie and Len. Jasmine, I will send that out to you. It's already done. So nice job. Thank you, Corey. So for those folks who attended live, we appreciate you being here. For those students who are going to engage with this resource as part of your learning class, as part of your learning environment within your online classes with the Taylor Leadership Institute, know that we appreciate your engagement as part of your learning experience. And we found the value in these just to share what leadership is through the leadership lens of different leaders in the community, and different people have had different experiences. So we really find this to be valuable, and we're so thrilled that you are willing to participate. So thank you, everyone. Feel free to reach out to us at the Taylor Leadership Institute if you have any questions, if you want to be involved with the work that we're doing, or learn more about any of our speakers coming up. We have Rachel Tutwiler Fortune, Executive Director of JPEF, who will be joining us in the spring. We have Tracy Wellman, Dr. Tracy Wellman, a faculty member at TCU, who is a national victims advocate and author of an amazing book around leadership and inclusion. And we also have, let me get to my link here. We have a national victims advocate around human trafficking based out of Tampa, Ms. Costello. So we have a lot of great folks who will be joining us and just helping to share the power and importance of leadership both here on campus and in the community. So thanks, everyone, and appreciate you all.